What's up, guys? Joe here with the Odyssey Off-Road channel, and just got back from a ride on the dirt bike. I think I turned a little bit of a corner here today, and we'll talk about it. So I'll show you. I put an hour meter on the bike when I first got it. I am at 3.4 hours. I don't know if you can see that. So it's got 3.4 hours on the bike, and that 3.4 hours is not only the bike, but for me. That's 3.4 hours of seat time total in my lifetime I've had on a dirt bike. So as this bike accrues hours, I'm accruing experience. Obviously, it goes without saying, but it's one in, hand in hand, because this is my first dirt bike, and my first dirt bike riding experience is on this bike. So I'm really, it's been 1 week now. I picked it up a week ago today. It is Friday currently, and so I'm planning on dropping this video later today. So it's been 1 week ago today that I bought it. Last Friday is when I brought it home, and over that weekend, Saturday, Sunday, actually I should say Sunday, I drove it around my property for a little bit, about an hour or so, and about another half hour, another day during the week, just on my property backyard, kind of doing some turns, working on just body positioning and feeling how to balance the bike. When I felt like I was okay, and obviously I wasn't. So a few days ago, I went out Wednesday of this week, 2 days ago. I said, well, I'm going to take it out on its first trail. And I didn't record it because I'm so new. I know I don't want to feel the pressure of recording myself and being on camera. I just kind of wanted to have a pressure-free ride and just kind of work on my skills and, see how I felt. And I will tell you, that first trail ride did not go good. Halfway through, I was thinking to myself, I probably made a mistake buying this thing. But I got home that night, and I thought, I'm gonna keep plugging along. It's something new. Got to learn just like anything else. And I've watched a ton of videos the last 2 days on proper technique, proper riding, proper body positioning. Well, turning was my nemesis. Making turns, feeling confident in turns. That, if you've never been on two wheels before, the biggest concern, at least for me, was feeling like the bike's gonna kind of wash out from under you, and being confident enough that the bike's going to grip, and being in the throttle in the right time and off the throttle in the right time. Just be consistent with the throttle is basically what I've learned. Consistent throttle application, not just herky-jerky with the throttle, but consistently and smooth through the turn and through anything for that matter, really gets you far. And then squeezing the bike with your ankles, and then making a turn, putting pressure on your outside peg, kind of, which is kind of opposite of what you would do on an ATV. You'd kind of come into the inside part of the quad, because it's going to want to tip over the opposite direction. So it's totally foreign to what I'm used to. And so today I have a friend of mine that has I'll post a picture here too of the two bikes together. He has a CRF250F, so it's like a 150 race bike, kickstart, carbureted, and that thing's like a little screamer. And he was like, let's ride together, and I can give you some pointers or whatever, or you can just follow behind me and kind of pick up on things and learn that way, which was really beneficial. So there's this little area of single track up the road for me, but getting to it, there's some hills and some I don't know how you describe it. I've had them in the video before. When I went out with my wife on the 4x4 quads, we did a trail ride. It's in that video, that section I'm talking about. And to get to it, you have a lot of ups and downs and ruts, and little hill descents and downs. And I was kind of nervous about doing that, because I'm used to just, riding on flat ground. So getting to that track section kind of freaked me out. But I said, all right, well, let's try it. He didn't know how to get back there, so I kind of had a lead once we got to that point. And we went back there, and I did it. He gave me a couple tips on turning, from what he noticed following me, what I was doing wrong. And I tried to work on that, and I felt a lot more confident. I didn't feel like the bike was going to slide out from under me. So that instilled a little more confidence. And then we started going around the track section, and that was great because it had ruts, rutted out areas, because a lot of dirt bikes go back there. So there's ruts and turns. There's some small little jumps. And I did actually catch air a little bit a couple times, which was pretty cool, which I didn't even realize. He told me, he's like, yeah, you were, caught some air there. So, so we did that. And I just kept going around, and a couple times. And then there's like a little section that's got some sand, which is another nemesis I had on the first ride. The sand sections, if you're not used to hitting some sandy areas, out here, it's unavoidable. You'll have a trail full of hardpack, and then you'll come across a section of 20, 30 feet of, loose, soft sand. And you kind of got when my first ride, I was kind of panicking. And, the bike was getting squirrely, and I was panicking, and I was kind of starfishing it, like my legs and arms were out. Like, you know what I mean? I was going to, and I laid the bike down once, very slow and soft. So it didn't do any damage, but kind of like a slow tip over. And then I went down another time on a loose rocky area. So it kind of freaked me out for my first ride, and I didn't feel even confident at all riding the bike, even on flat ground after that, at that point. And I got home that night. I felt kind of defeated. So got back up on a saddle today. Like I said, went out with my buddy, and we did that area, and we rode that for about an hour. And I will tell you, I really, it did a world of good for me riding with somebody, and just getting back up on it. And especially after watching all the videos I did the last 2 days on proper techniques and turning and tips and stuff like that from veteran riders, I just went out there and said, well, basically throttle is more your friend when you're going through sandy sections. I learned to kind of sit back more on the bike, squeeze the bike with my ankles tight, and just keep steady throttle. You don't want to let off the throttle so the front tire doesn't wash out and get squirrely in the sand, and you kind of just cut right through it. And even when it does get a little squirrely, you just keep on the throttle, and it straightens itself right out. And I just applied that knowledge today, and it worked out great. I didn't go down at all today, so yay, that's a trophy so far. One award for me. first ride, second trail ride, and I didn't go down today. I'm sure there will be times where I do, as I increase the technicality of the riding I do, but I feel so much better. And I basically wanted to make this video, like, there's a lot of new riders out there, because you guys never rode a bike before. This is great. You're gonna go down. It's gonna be hard to learn. Don't feel defeated. Keep plugging at it. I have a lot to learn, but I'm just thrilled with how today went. And 1 week in, and 3.4 hours on the bike now. 3.4 hours of dirt bike experience I have, from the 2.5 hour mark to today, the 3.4 hour mark. I feel a world better than I did 2 days ago on that ride. And so it's been awesome. As far as the bike goes, this thing is sweet. It's got plenty of power. I know there's guys that have said to me, you get in the wrong bike, get the race bike, the 250R or the RX. And like I said in the intro video to this, if you guys haven't checked that one out, you can check that out too. I go into a little more depth of why I chose this bike, but I'm just learning. I'm 47. I'm just learning how to ride a dirt bike. I've never ridden a motorcycle at all in my life. So I wanted something that wasn't going to be intimidating, a little lower seat height, easy to learn on. You can barely stall this thing out. It doesn't flame out at all. The clutch is very forgiving. It makes it real enjoyable to learn. And when you want it a little bit, there is a little juice there. I mean, I was doing some small little jumps once I got comfortable back there, and it does it no problem. The suspension hasn't bottomed out for me at all, like some people suggest, but I'm only 165 pounds. So I think if you're pushing 200, the suspension probably will be too soft for you. But it's been great for me. I changed the oil already once at the 1.6 hour mark, and I would recommend that for anybody. I know they say you don't have to, but that oil was like a glitter bomb, just from the break-in. You know what I mean? The engine's breaking in, everything's seating, the rings and the cylinders are seating together and all that stuff. And you just want to get all that stuff out of there. So I just dumped the oil, refilled with fresh oil, and then I'm going to do this at the 5 hour mark. So maybe another ride I'll do, and I get to around the 5-hour mark. I'm going to dump the oil again, change the oil filter that time, and put synthetic in it, and then I'll probably go every 10 hours after that. But that's what I've done so far. I haven't done anything major to the bike except for handguards. I wouldn't recommend these handguards. They're okay. They look good. They're Amazon specials. And I know I'm going to be changing these handlebars out at some point, so I just wanted to get something before my first trail ride. So if I did tip over, which I did, it saved my levers. When you do put these on, the clutch lever is kind of long on these bikes, so you got to adjust. The clutch lever was here from when I bought it, so it was kind of sticking out to the end, so it'll rub. So I just loosened these, slid it in, and it's fine. You can one finger this clutch. I might even get shorty levers because this clutch is so soft. It's very easy to just 1 or 2 finger the clutch. And then, so I did the handguards. These are Amazon specials. They're like 28 bucks. If you are interested in them, I'll put a link in the video description. You can pick them up. The downside of them, the reason why I say I don't recommend them is the hardware they give you is absolute garbage. Like every screw, the heads have stripped, just making them snug. The metal is so soft, just Chinese junk, and it just strips out. So getting them off will be fun when it comes time. But when I do change the handlebars out, and I'm going to put some nicer grips on the new bars, and I'll probably go with the Acerbis or however the hell you pronounce it, or the Rocky Mountain ones, or the Circa. I think the Circa it's called. The better brands are wraparound handguards on those, and then just leave these with the old bars. And other than that, I did foot pegs. These again are Amazon foot pegs. They work great. I wouldn't recommend them for motocross because they're aluminum, so they're soft. So if you're going to be doing big jumps and landing hard on them, you want the steel pegs, I'd imagine. Not that I have any experience, but these have been great for me for learning, having a good solid platform to put your foot. I'll show you the factory foot guards next to those, and you'll see the difference. So these are the stock foot guards, foot pegs, I should say, and you see the difference in size. They're like ½ inch wider, almost about a ½ inch wider, and almost a full inch out, 3/4 of an inch longer. So it really give you a nice platform for your foot. These small, tiny little things. Even the other Honda motorcycles, the 150R my friend has bigger pegs than these stock. I don't know why they give you these little tiny little stock pegs, especially for trail riding. You know what I mean? So these have been great addition. So that's it. So all I do is that and the handguards. And I plan on doing, at some point, not right now, but I'm probably going to do an exhaust on it just to make it sound a little better. It sounds a little, lawnmower-ish, I guess you could say, with the stock exhaust, but it's got pretty restrictive baffle in it. And at some point, when I'm ready for a little bit more power, I'll change the exhaust and put a tuner on it and give it another pony or two. The suspensions felt good to me. The tires, the book recommends 15 pounds. I felt that 15 pounds, they were very hard and not that grippy. These are mid-hard compound tires anyway, and they're pretty stiff. So I load them to just 13 pounds, and they feel great. They don't feel like, they're not like pinch flatting or anything like that. The sidewalls don't give much. But I did notice a difference from 15 to 13 pounds. So I'll probably just leave them at that. I don't want to run it lower in fear of getting a flat. And then if I do get a flat at some point, I'll probably put just the heavy-duty inner tubes in it. And that'll be it. As far as the chain goes, I haven't had to adjust that yet, believe it or not. It's still good. I actually had to loosen it. I found that it was actually over tight from when I brought it home from the dealer. You're supposed to get, it says you're right on the side, about an inch and 3/8, and then I think max is an inch and 5/8. So within that range of chain slack, and it was at like barely an inch chain slack, so it was a little too tight. So when the suspension cycles and it compresses, the chain tightens up more. So you want enough to compensate for when the suspension's compressed, the chain isn't overly tight. That's no good for your chain or your sprockets. So I had to loosen it just one notch, and it's super easy. I think this is a 15. Put a 15 on there and hold it, and then you loosen this here with a 24 millimeter. And then you just make sure these clicker adjusters are the same on both sides. They may move when you loosen them. Just make sure you remember where they were. So I just dropped it down one. It was at 19. There's numbers on here. It's 20, 25, and in between. So I dropped it two notches below the 20. It was one notch below the 20, and that just gave me just enough slack to get it to where it needed to be, and you measure it from the bottom, according to the owner's manual. So what I'm going to do now is probably give it a bath, give it its first wash, and check the air filter, see how that looks. I'm not sure how the air box is on these. I know the inlet's under the seat, so I don't think it's going to get too dusty. Some of the race bikes pull in from the sides, so they get dusty real quick in there. So we'll see how that looks, and if it needs to be cleaned or not. That's something you want to take care of, be on top of with any bike. But then you'll get the feel for it, and I'll see. If it still looks really, really clean, then I know at 3.5 hours, I don't need to worry about the air filter. It's not going to be that dirty, and then kind of get a feel for it from there. Check it every so often. But that's it for this one, guys. Kind of wanted to just make this, again, just kind of reassure you new riders like myself, don't give up. I have said from the last ride where it was absolutely devastating to my ego to this ride today, I really felt like I turned a corner. Like, I feel so much better. And even the guy I was riding with, who's been riding since he was a kid, and he was like, dude, you look great, you look fine, like, be more confident in yourself, because you don't look bad at all. You look good. I was doing a couple things wrong on turning, and he kind of helped me out with that, and I really feel so much better in confidence and wise, and I'm looking forward to getting even better. So I'll update you guys as I go. I haven't recorded a ride yet. I think maybe next time we ride around, maybe I'll record that one and show you guys where I'm at skill level, and you guys can kind of give me some more tips and pointers. But again, this is Joe with Odyssey Off-Road. I appreciate you guys tuning into the video. I hope you guys like the dirt bike content. If you have been with the channel a while and you used all the ATV stuff, you can see I still have them. And there'll be plenty more on that. I actually got a video coming out, first ride on the CRF250, my Sun Squad. And if I can recommend that for a adult rider. So I did a long trail ride with that, and we're going to drop a video on that. And you guys can check that out. And I talk a lot about how it handles and how it feels power-wise and how it does. And if I'd recommend that quad for an adult and not just a kid. Who my son's 8 and he rides that, but adult can ride that bike. So stay tuned for that video if you're interested. But that's it, guys. Joe at Odyssey Off-Road. I appreciate you watching to the end here. If you stuck around, please smash the subscribe button. That helps me out a ton too. If you hit the like button and just leave a quick comment, say hi, or give me some motivational tips in the comment section, or try and be a little enthusiastic. I know some of you Debbie Downers will probably hammer me about still having a trail bike and not a race bike, but that's okay. I'm very happy with it. Super thrilled that I made the purchase that I did, and I didn't buy the race bike because it's really given me a lot more confidence and less to worry about, and fear of the bike and the power and all that stuff. So I really can grow into this bike, and at some point, if my skills develop, far better than they are now, maybe a year from now, maybe I'll look into a dream bike for me if I were to move up to a more racier, high-end bike, would be the KTM 250 XCW. The XCW is great for trail riding and softer suspension and fuel injected. You don't have to mix the gas and the oil. It's just self-injecting. That's just a really nice bike, but it's a $10,000 bike. So we'll see. I plan on keeping this thing for a long time and learning on it. I want to be like, not the best rider, because that's impossible to ever be the best rider out there, but I want to be as best as I can be on this bike before I even think about a different bike down the road. I'm super happy with this purchase. So again, hit me in the comments, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't. This is Joe at Odyssey Off-Road, and catch you guys on the trail.